everyone, Chelsie Kenyon here, Senior Director with LimeLight by Alcone, and I want to talk to you today about generations as it pertains to our compensation plan. There's a lot of discussion about that, especially as you start ranking up, so I want to make sure that you completely understand how they work and what exactly happens, what it means, how you get paid on them, all that juicy stuff, okay? So the first thing is understanding exactly what a generation is. A generation is anybody in your downline that promotes to lead director or higher, and lead director is an executive level. So anything lead director, star director, senior director, and higher, that's all in the executive levels of our compensation plan. So once somebody hits anything in those executive ranks, they become a generation. So let me show you what exactly this looks like. Oh, and if you become a lead director or you hit an executive rank, you become the generation for your upline. Okay, so it really works both ways. So let's say that here's your upline. Okay, so that's your upline, your sponsor, your enroller, however you want to look at it. And let's say they have their team. We've got some stars, some lead beauty guides, some beauty guides. Okay, they're building their team. Looking good, good looking team. Okay, and then here's you. And let's say that you hit the ground running, you take off and you become a lead beauty guide yourself. This is not exactly what a lead beauty guide looks like, guys, okay? I'm just trying to explain to you. You understand, right? The tree branches kind of go down that way. Okay, so let's say you become a lead beauty guide. You and all of your downline right there, that is going to become your sponsor or enroller's first generation, okay? So, second generation, let's get that figured out. So let's say this person down here, let's say that person right there, doing a great job, building their team, they're going great. Now let's say this person promotes to lead director under you, okay? Now they are your first generation and your upline's second generation, okay? So what this looks like is all of this right here outside of this person. This is the first generation for this guy up here. Then all of this right here is the second generation, okay? Then let's say this guy right here takes off, builds a huge team. They become the third generation, okay? Is this making sense? Okay, so your upline, you are the first generation, there's another second generation and a third generation, okay? So that's how generations can spring up in somebody's downline. And as this person grows and promotes past lead director, maybe they get to star director, senior director, and they keep growing, they're still going to be the first generation. Even if they promote to star, they're still the first generation. The cutoff is anything lead director and up, okay? So even if they're promoting, that doesn't change anything. That's still a generation in itself. Same thing for this guy here. If this guy here is promoting to, was lead director, they became a generation, they promote to star, senior, whatever else, that's still the second generation. For the purpose of the comp plan, if this person, if any of these people don't maintain, they get reabsorbed into their upline's kind of circle, and they are not counted as a generation anymore. So it is something that has to happen every month, okay? So how do you get paid on all of these generations? That's the important part, right? Okay, so what needs to happen for this person right here to get paid on these generations is this person here has to be a certain rank. So in order for somebody to get paid on their first generation, they need to be a lead director. in order for them to get paid on 2 generations within their downline, 2 generations deep within their downline, they need to be a star director. If somebody wants to be paid on their 3rd generation, they would be a senior director, okay? So lead director gets 1 generation, star director gets 2 generations, and senior director gets 3 generations. And then anything that branches off past that goes on to the next guy. Okay? So all of this, what happens to all of this? Well, once you're lead director, you are actually going to be paid 2% on this excess here, and you're going to be paid 3% here, 3%, 3%. I'm sorry, at lead director, you get 3% on your 1st generation, star director gets 3% on their 2nd generation, and senior director gets 3% on their 3rd generation. Okay, so it's basically 3% on each generation, and then 2% on the excess that happens outside of that 1st generation. Okay, now let's say this guy here begins to take off, and they too become a lead director, which is the executive position, the 1st executive rank that we have here. Okay, so they are now a generation because they have hit that executive rank, but when they're going down, that's the 1st one. Okay, so this is also the 1st generation. Okay, so anything when you're going and you're looking down your downline, the 1st generation that you hit in any leg is your the 1st executive rank that you hit in any leg is your 1st generation. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 1st generations. Okay, and then as these 1st generations start kind of spawning that 2nd generation, you can have multiple 2nd generations and multiple 3rd generations, which usually is what happens. And that's when you really unlock the potential of the comp plan, because you're building wide and you have multiple 1st generations, multiple 2nd generations, multiple 3rd generations. So that is how generations work. I hope that makes that very clear for you and helps you understand the power of generations and how you can really build wide and unlock an amazing extra percentage, because like I said, you're getting that 2% on all the excess, plus you're getting 3% on all of this, okay? So I hope that makes sense, that we're gonna get lead director, star director, and senior director in order to get paid on these different levels of generation. But if you're working your business, that's probably gonna happen pretty naturally anyways, as far as all this stuff kind of growing and expanding under you. All right, so that is LimeLight by Alcone, generations in the comp plan. Bye.